Welcome to Cowboy Shit, hosted by Ted Stoven and myself, Dustin Edwards. Join us as we chat with influential figures shaping the Western world, from artists to athletes. With backgrounds in bull riding, media, and sports commentary, we're not afraid to tackle tough topics while celebrating the essence of cowboy culture. Find our clothing line at cowboyshit.ca and tune in for insightful conversations. Thanks for listening.
Here I am, hot damn. A two-stepping daddy and a two-tone caddy, hot damn. Here I am, hot damn. A slingshot Sally through the alley in a black Trans Am. Here I am, hot damn. A shotgun, blackjack, black cat, Cadillac, slingshot Sally in the alley in a black Trans Am. Hot damn.
All right, welcome to episode 186 of Cowboy Shit. My name's Ted Stoven. He is Dustin Edwards. We're doing this very mobile this week. Dustin, where are you guys right now? And just so people know, Allie is definitely driving right now. Dustin is the passenger princess in the truck or the car.
Specifically, we're like by Delia, I think. Yeah.
Delia,
Delia,
okay.
Alberta.
So for those that don't know, Delia.
On route to Hannah, Alberta.
Oh, so you're almost to Hannah then. Delia is pretty close to Hannah.
Yeah, about half hour, I think.
Oh yeah, not bad. The old Highway 9.
That's right.
So
that's
where
we
in the
are
drive,
currently on this beautiful December.
and at what point in the drive do you start playing the Nickelback music?
I think you got to give yourself about a 10-kilometer buffer, and that gives you about two of the better songs as you pull in.
2 to 3 of the better songs. Yeah. But then Allie's family lives a little ways from Hannah though too, right? So there's a little extra buffer there too, right?
Yeah, you got 20 minutes to unwind it from there to the farm. So
okay, this is good. Good. Dustin, it's Christmas. This is a Christmas podcast. So you guys are going to Hannah for Christmas, eh?
Yeah, and then to Big Valley, and then back to Hannah for Christmas Day, and then back to Calgary. So it's a couple miles in between, but all for the joyous festive season.
And where at which point do you air the grievances in the in that circle? Where does the Festivus happen?
Well, today's the 23rd. Is it Festivus today? I think it is. So today I'll be airing my grievances. Today. Yeah. We'll be doing feats of strength at the dinner table, and nobody eats till Allie's pinned is the Christmas tradition. So.
Oh man, that sounds like fun. Well, I guess thanks everybody for joining us this week. Okay, and we've got Matt the intern, who's no longer an intern, also just joining in on the show. Dustin and I was talking with him. We are trying to line up a time, kind of getting down to the last second here, but we got to bring Matt in because we got to ask him about his Vegas experiences. This was his first time in Vegas.
Shenanigans.
And, shenanigans, right? So like Dustin and I have been in Vegas together at the same time. We probably shouldn't do that too often. But it was a lot of fun when we did do that. There was a lot of golf. There was a lot of memories, a lot of gambling. What was there? We sang karaoke on the Strip at one point. We probably talked about that before on the show. But
yeah, a lot of party buses.
Yeah, that was a party bus time too. When we went golfing that time, and that girl sang a song to Gator because he was MIA that day.
Oh yeah,
that was quite fun on the ukulele. She had a ukulele and she was playing. But Matt, actually Dustin, you go ahead. What do you got to ask Matt about his first trip to Vegas?
Well, I just want to know the top highlight, the number one moment you remember or don't remember.
Well, there's definitely a lot of moments I don't remember, so that happened frequently. But number one is a bit of a tricky one. Definitely seeing the NFR for the first time in person. That's pretty cool, just in general. I think Ted and we went to the Chris Stapleton and George Strait concert, and I thought that performance was probably the best concert I've ever been to, and it'll be a hard one to beat. That was pretty sweet. And then Coulter Wall was a pretty cool experience too, that whole deal there.
Can I pause, Matt, here that these are very family-friendly answers, that there's got to be some more meat on this bone here for
But
I don't want to pull you on the show and talk about it. There's got to be something better than some live music and rodeo.
the live music
Well,
was great. I will agree. But I will tell Dustin, I got to jump in here because I did tell Matt. He was like, "Yeah, I think I want to go to the strippers later." I was like, "Matt, whatever you do, don't go to the fucking strippers in Vegas. It's gonna be terrible. You're gonna hate it. You're gonna sit down and they're gonna demand money from you, and you're gonna leave a lot poorer man, and you're gonna feel a little bit what I say, Dustin. You're gonna feel a little bit. Your pocket's gonna be lighter, but you're gonna feel dirty when you leave." Like I was just like,
Yeah.
"Don't. You're not gonna like it, Matt." But then he still went because it was his first time in Vegas. He didn't know any better.
Yeah.
He didn't understand.
Did you make it rain?
definitely did not make it rain. We just getting through the door was a culture shock. It was $50, and we were like, "Oh my god, what is this?" So then I
Yeah.
don't know. We went to the bar and just got a drink, which was also like 2 drinks was like $70. So still absurd. But then all these girls are just coming over and touching you and wanting you to touch them, and they're like, "Oh, just $300 for a lap dance." So I was like, "Hell no, get away from me." So,
Did you?
but I tried to act all innocent, so I was like calling all the strippers ma'am, just to like be like, "Oh, I'm an innocent little boy. Please leave me alone."
Okay, I'm curious. Did you use your credit card while you were there at all?
At the strippers?
Yeah.
No, I did not. I heard some advice beforehand that you do not use your
Yeah.
credit card.
You don't want to use it, but in the event you do, and it's been a long time, but I'm pretty sure it used to pop up as like a gift shop or something, so that husbands wouldn't never get trouble from their wives for using their credit card at a strip joint. But it's been a few years, so I just was curious if there was any interesting names on the statements for the place of business that was charging you.
No,
Well,
I didn't see any of that. I heard that the strippers steal your credit card though
That
from
is
time to
true.
time. So maybe don't use that one.
Dustin,
Can
I'll
confirm.
try this out. I'll try this out with on your stag party. And we'll
Okay.
let people know. Yeah,
Yeah. See what it shows up on the statement as.
yeah. Just for scientific purposes, we got to figure out
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, purely
So
research.
so you went to your first strippers in Vegas and you went to some great concerts. Any other highlights?
Um,
How'd the
uh,
gambling go, Matt? Tell us about
not
that.
the gambling went poorly. I lost $200 on the first night at the tables that I sat down, and then there is no point of gambling where I had made any money. It was all just feeding the slot machines and feeding the tables. So I don't have any fun big wins or big losses. I was getting pretty mad at Vegas for a little while there because I was always hungover
Matt
and
wanted to go
losing money.
home.
Yeah,
He was really ready to go home, and then we drove
She's a cruel,
straight through. We were both ready to go home.
she's a cruel mistress
Yeah,
at Vegas.
right.
She is.
Uh, Eddie, what's your biggest win and biggest loss in Vegas? Are you okay to tell people about this? You don't have to.
Biggest win?
Statute of limitations may have passed on the losses.
Yeah. The biggest win. I never had like really huge ones, like maybe 4 or 5,000 at once. The biggest
That's the biggest
losses,
ones.
yeah, like at once. But I mean, I would have
Like one ticket because
one,
you like,
yeah.
but you can like. Do you want to tell people what you used to do like back in those good old oil days, Eddie?
Oil money days. Well, we had
We
some
don't
pretty
have to.
big.
We don't have to tell people about it too much.
We had some pretty big wins over some nights. You all of a sudden you got 20 grand in your collection, but
Dang.
I've also seen it disappear too. So I've seen some
But
five figure losses.
but what Dustin used to do, like he just had a budget. Like you'd take like 5 grand, right? Like when you were in the oil field business, like you'd take like 5 grand cash and you go to the
Yep.
high limits and you'd bet big and then you'd win big and you'd also lose big. But there was
Yeah.
very rarely a time where you'd go and lose your 5 grand and then you're done for the week, right? But like that was what you'd take. Like that was your budget. And the dollar was closer to the same at that time, maybe, but
It was, yeah, but honestly, like you're right. I never went there and lost it on the first day.
yeah,
But when you play in those high limit slots, like your wins are
are
substantially
bigger.
larger, right? The
Yeah.
nice thing is that you always get taxed on a jackpot, so it's almost like a
Of like what,
guaranteed
1,200 bucks
savings.
more?
Yeah, anything over 1,200 more, they take 30. I think it's 30 or 35%. So, if you won 10,000, they would take 3,500 bucks,
Which
and
is
then
what
you
your
could
original
apply,
money was.
and you could apply to get that back the next year from Vegas. So every year it started becoming a cadence of getting my my tax refunds back before I would go on my next trip.
Yeah.
So it's
Hmm.
almost like instant savings.
Well,
Yeah.
and then you going at the high limits, you always got like the status with the casinos. So you had all the crazy like suites. Like one time I remember being at the Flamingo, you had this crazy, ridiculous suite. I was next door in a regular ass room, and Dustin was like next door to me, but he had this like 4-bedroom suite on the top floor of the
Oh, dang.
Flamingo. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
badass.
Yeah. And the one year they gave us those multi-bedroom suites and tickets to the rodeo every night and tickets
Yeah.
to Shania Twain, and yeah, they were looking after us
Whoa.
pretty good. Limos picking us up from the airports. It was pretty good times.
That was the dime. Those were the Dusty's Diamonds years.
That's right. Yeah.
Wow.
You get your own room when you come and check in, and yeah, there's always gifts waiting for you when you check in and stuff. It's pretty good. So
And by gifts, he does not mean strippers and cocaine.
Rodeo
no,
tickets.
those were extra.
That was extracurriculars. I've only got a few minutes left here, but the rodeo it was fun. Trade show was awesome. Matt, we had a lot of fun. We drove all the way home. Dustin, we got to talk about this though. We got anything else on the Vegas trip? Anything, guys?
Just shame and sadness. Sounds like
Your shame, hangovers, anxiety,
Monday
Yeah.
scaries.
Monday
Yeah.
scaries, but
Have
they
you
were
healed up
happening
from
every
the trip
day.
back yet, Matt? Because that one beat you up. That all night drive kicked your ass a little
That
bit.
all night drive beat me up a little bit. I was in rough shape. I'm back in action now though, so
Okay,
don't
good.
worry.
Okay. Okay, Dustin, though, the Roughnecks season starts on the 28th. And Merry Christmas, everybody, too, by the way. This is show coming out either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. And I guess it's already season 8, second episode of season 8. So we're on our 8th year of the show. But hey, the Roughnecks are back, Dustin. You're home. The guys are already what, 2-0, 3-0 now? What are they at?
2-0, yeah, 2-0 to start the
2-0.
year. We played in Halifax and Albany, so good
Yeah.
start. But if you're catching this
Home
show
opener.
here, you've got 3 days to grab your tickets and come to the Roughnecks home opener. As everyone knows, it's a hell of a good time.
Come for the party, stay for the game.
That's right. Come for the party, stay for the game. And we're playing Vancouver, so it's going to be a rocking good time. Should be 14,000 in the dome, and should be good.
Oh, wow.
Good night.
Is there a Dustin Edwards promo code like Eddie69420 or anything that we can get
Afroman _ 69.
for promo for ticket promo? Or we got to work on that for
if you go to ticketmaster.ca and go to the Roughnecks and purchase a full price ticket, that'd be much appreciated.
that goes into Dustin's bonus structure. So full price,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah,
If you're a friend of the show, you can afford a full price ticket. Sorry.
that's right. Exactly. $30
dear.
you get the cheap seats.
It's actually Dustin. It's Afroman _ 69. It actually adds $10 to the ticket price. That goes right into Dustin's pocket.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, we'll have to see what you're up to that day, Matt. You might have to come join us too and hang out. But oh, do we got anything else, boys? I'm trying to think what else there is. Oh, wedding. The next show. By the next time, the two trails become one in Stettler, Alberta.
Yep. Yeah, the Stettler edition of the wedding will be happening.
Yeah.
So looking
Part
forward
2.
to dancing and drinking and hugging and celebrating, and
Yeah.
gonna be good.
Dustin, did I tell you that I've never been in a wedding party before? I've politely declined every other time previously.
Really? Would you
Yeah, this will be the
decline
first time.
because of like rodeo schedules, probably?
Yeah, honestly, like a buddy for sure. No, it was two friends that got married the same summer, and the first event was like the Ottawa event on the Cup Series. Like it was the first Cup Series event we ever had on TV, and I just really didn't feel like I could miss it. And the second one was the week later, and I missed that wedding too. I missed 2 weddings back to back that I was
geez.
supposed to be in. And my like the friends of the one mom is still mad at me today that I missed the wedding. And I was like,
Oh,
I'm
shit.
sorry, but this is my living. It's how I make, like, I literally have been on this tour for a decade now, and I probably wouldn't have been if I missed that show.
Damn.
Like, how do you miss the first one? And I'm
Yeah,
doing
it's
3 or
tough.
4 jobs there. It sucks,
Yeah.
right? But like,
Yeah.
thank you to Dustin and Allie for getting married in January when there are no events that I'm going to be missing.
On the next show, we'll play the audio of the video how I asked you guys to be in the wedding party.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah, that's probably a good platform to display it.
100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to be in the wedding. I don't know what that entails yet, but looking forward to being there, Dustin. And yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everybody, and we'll enjoy. I guess
Happy
enjoy the
Happy Festivus.
Happy Festivus, exactly. But Matt, you were there for the Dougie Hall for recording the show in Vegas. He was, his girlfriend came by and said hello, and she's actually from Merritt, BC. So Kay came by and said hello, and she's like, "Do you guys know Dougie Hall?" And I was like, "I know who he is, but I've never met him." And sure enough, she brings him by, and they're dating. And then he's like one of our booth mates, like just down the way. So, turns out like we had a great conversation. We've become friends in the week and a half since, kind of thing. But he's called me a few times, and we've had a couple visits. So it was pretty fun to catch up with Dougie, and had a lot of great shows come out of Vegas. And Dustin, we're gonna make sure you're down there next year. Bring you down for a few days. Hopefully, I guess it'll depend on what your schedule looks like, but we'll work on that.
We'll do it. We'll be there.
Yeah, awesome. We'll bring hopefully Allie can come down and we can have a little trip out of it. But
You betcha.
Matt, you got anything else to add here before we wrap it up?
If Dustin comes down, he's got to do all 14 though.
Oh,
Matt,
Matt, do you want to say hi to
let that happen.
Matt, do you want to say Merry Christmas to anyone named Cinnamon or anything like that? Well,
actually, also, I forgot to add this earlier. One of the strippers who was like leading us in, I told her, like, no, I don't have any money to spend on you. And she told me then, why the fuck are you even here? And yelled at me and then stormed off. So I did get yelled at by a stripper.
For not having any money.
Yeah.
This is not a place to come to with no money.
Yeah.
she ain't wrong.
Oh boy. Thanks for joining us, but enjoy the interview this week. Thanks, I guess, year-end thank yous. Thanks to Sean Morton for sticking with us and making this work, even though we're usually last minute, but it happens. But Matt, thanks for making it work. Dustin, thanks for making this work while you're driving. See you all.
For the man at the bar confessing his sins, I need some good news. Send me sipping on cold truth. Nobody knows what I'm going through, but the devil wouldn't walk in my shoes. Wish someone told me living this life would be lonely. Trying to get away from the old me. Still stuck singing these
Okay, hold on. No, let's just keep rolling. This is good. Devin, take a mic. Hold on. Tell us a story. Come sit with us. Tell us a story quick.
I want to sit with you. I'm not.
Off camera?
Okay. I'll off camera because.
Okay, tell us a story quick.
So I had this one horse, and we had to do this stunt where like you hear the gunshots, and you have to kind of mill around a bit, and it's me and a bunch of like the relay riders. So they're on like bareback, and like the gunshots start going off. By the second take, you hear rolling. And my horse is already trying to gun it. And at one point, he rears up, turns around, falls in the trees. And they're like, we need you to just keep riding around in circles. And I'm like, I'm trying my damnedest. Like, come on, guys. Yeah, no, every time they hear rolling, it's just instantly. They're do a bulldogging horse. Oh, my gosh, they're just ready to go. Like, it's wild.
Dang. Okay, Devin, are we good on your end? Looks like we got it. Hello. Sorry, we're just recording a show, but we'll gladly sell you some stuff. No, welcome to the booth.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. We'll do that at the same time. Hope you don't mind. Okay. All right, here we are. Las Vegas. It's a Tuesday. What do we got? 5 days left. But we got a very special guest we met this week. Earlier in the week, your artist came by, Isaiah. And I forget his last name now, but he came by, and then we got talking, and he showed me some of his designs, and I was like, man, this is really cool stuff. And then next thing I know, Kay comes by, and she's like, have you guys met Dougie Hall? I was like, no, but I've heard about him. Like, I definitely know who he is. And then she's like, well, I'll bring him by. So then she came over, and she's from Merritt, BC. But, folks, you may have seen him on Instagram. We just had a gentleman in the booth from southeastern Arizona. He's an hour from New Mexico and an hour from Old Mexico, as he said. But he knows all your stuff online, and I'm proud to be able to meet you this week and thankful that we got to catch up because he's from Browning, Montana. Please welcome to the show, Dancing Dougie Hall.
Thanks for having me, Ted.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. So we've been talking for quite a while here. We've kind of been a little bit distracted. There's a lot going on in Vegas. There's a lot of stimulation happening.
A lot of customers.
Yeah, we haven't sold much yet though. We've been a little distracted, but that's okay. Yeah. Hopefully you had a good week here too, eh?
Yeah.
Have you done this booth here thing before much?
So last year last year was our first year. We were in the same spot, but we just had a 10 by 10.
Yeah, I didn't have enough space probably.
No, that was pretty hard to do. I mean, shoot people. What I found out is, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's almost like ranching, this merchandise stuff, because you got to treat people. They're like cattle. You got to have enough space to kind of have that flow they can walk through. You know, you got to.
I didn't have enough space this time. I screwed it up too.
Oh no, you got that flow though. It's like a corral.
Bit.
You know,
but
what
it's
I mean?
It's a one-ended corral though. I kind of got a squeeze going on over here.
Oh, well, they get to the
right
end of
exit.
They get to the end of it and they got to buy something.
So I guess we should do a couple things. You've done lots of these podcasts before, so I want to go on a little bit of a different path with some of it. But let's go back to Vegas, because you've got a bunch of stuff on the go here. But your social media stuff has really taken off. You've been kicking butt on all that stuff, and everybody likes what you're doing. I like your line over here on your website. I got thinking about it. Don't worry about it. I got to ask kind of bit about where that came from. But what's the last few years been like for you to build this social media? I looked you up on Google and it says internet personality. So I was impressed, because I don't think mine says anything yet. So I like it. But tell me, like, what's the last few years been like? Like, how did you decide to start doing all this social media stuff, and tell us about the path, the journey.
Man, it was crazy. Like, I was at a pretty rough spot in my life, and I didn't know what to do, where to go. I didn't, I was, basically broke. Didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And I ended up, I needed some help, because my dad always told me, you got to get back to your basics. What makes you you? And I thought, well, what makes Dougie? And it's always been horses, right? Because I've always been a horse lover. And so what I did is I thought, well, okay, I got to get back to horses, especially bucking horses. I love bucking horses. And I was scrolling through Facebook one day, and I seen a video for Veeder Ranch. It was George Veeder. You heard of George?
Yeah.
He's like a 60-year-old bronc rider that, he don't look 60. Like,
he's in great shape.
This guy's cut. Like, he looks like he's in his early 30s.
Yeah, and he's connected with, I think he sponsors Dawson Hay.
Yeah.
And a few of those
Lefty
guys.
Holman, Dawson Hay.
I don't know if he sponsored Logan or not, too, but
I can't remember, but Logan goes there, too. And so anyway, I seen these videos for Veeder Ranch, and this guy, like, he's just got something about him, George Veeder, and he's
energy,
60-some years old, great shape, and he's riding broncs. Good. Like, he's not hanging and rattling and taking a beating and getting them covered. Like, this guy is spurring them, man. Like, he was riding good. And then he shows, like, other videos where he's got people from all levels of bronc riding. He's got Dawson Hay there. He's got Lefty Holman. He's got kids that are, like, riding in college. He's got kids in high school that are riding. Like, he's got people coming there to get practice from every level. And he's got horses for every level. And I see the energy them guys had in the video. They were all smiling. They were all laughing. They were all helping each other. And so I thought, I need some of that. So I shot George a message. He said, call me in the new year. So I did. And I give him a call. I kind of told him what was going on. Told him I needed help. He said, well, come down. When can you get here? And I said, as soon as I can. I can load up right now. So he said, come on down. So I threw my stuff in my little Chevy Malibu and took off to California. And I went and rode broncs, and that's where I met all those guys. And I hadn't rode in like 2 years, but shoot, I felt like I rode pretty good for not riding in 2 years, and it was just because being around all the positivity and stuff. And I met Mang Lee with Makeline Productions. Oh yeah, I love Mang too. He's like my brother.
Yeah. Wonderful guy.
He made me pho. Yeah. He anyway, I went down there, and Mang told me, I got to be great. He's one of my best friends. And he told me, he said, yeah, Dougie, I was visiting with Lori O'Harver from Bronc Ride Nation and your cousin Chase Brooks, and we all agreed that you got a gift, but you don't use it. I said, well, what do you mean? What's my gift? He said, well, when you talk, people listen, and you got a story to tell. And you don't use it. I said, well, how do I use it? He said, Dougie, just video yourself talking on your phone, post it on social media. I said, well, what do I say? He said, well, talk from your mind and your heart. And I said, but Mang, sometimes my mind and my heart cuss. And he said,
That's okay.
Yeah, he said, well, say that anyway. So I did, and I just started screwing around doing it, and it took off. It took off like crazy, and it ended up turning into a full-time job. And next thing you know, I'm getting asked to come and speak at different places, and somebody said, hey, you should get some merchandise. So I did that, and that just took off like crazy. And I believe everybody's got that in them, you know what I mean? It's their gift is the thing they do the absolute best with the least amount of effort. And once you learn how to use it, and it might take a while, but once you learn how to do it and to use it, it's going to make room for you. And I was fortunate enough, I found it at around like my late 20s.
I was gonna ask when that was, because we were talking about a couple things beforehand, but you got in a bad car wreck and lost your mom.
Yeah.
And from what I'm hearing, it sounds like that was a similar timeline. It wasn't very long after that you went to Viter's place.
Oh no, that was so I lost my mother way before that.
Okay.
When I was 14 years old.
Oh, a long time ago. Okay.
Yeah, a long time ago. So I'm the baby of my family. I'm the youngest of 3 kids, and so me and my mom, we were close, right? Like we were like this. She was my best friend, and she never drank. She was a community health nurse at the Blackfoot Community Hospital in Browning. And, I was such a baby. In fact, I slept in the same bed as my mom until I was 14. Don't tell anybody that. I mean, well, I just said it on a podcast, but it's on the record now. But yeah, I was a mama's boy, and it ain't no big secret, and it's probably going to piss a lot of people off, but it's the truth, And I'm just saying, growing up on the reservation, because I know that horse and I know that rodeo, because that's where I grew up. When you grow up on a reservation, you're surrounded by addiction, alcoholism, and drugs. And when you grow up on a reservation, it's hard to stay out of that shit because it's all around you. It's everywhere. And my mom, I was lucky to have her. She burned it into my head to stay away from alcohol. She made me promise her when I was a little kid that I wasn't going to touch a drop of alcohol because as a little kid, I always wanted to be a cowboy. I was always a horse lover, but I noticed like a lot of the adults in my family, especially the men, they reminded me of werewolves, right? You ever see werewolves on movies? They're regular guys during the day, but come nighttime they start to change.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, they'd a lot of them were drinkers. They're not bad guys. I want to get that out there right now. That
it's a substance, and it's addiction.
Yeah,
it's not them. It's them when they're on that substance.
Yeah, people that struggle with alcohol, they're not bad people. They're good people. Alcohol just causes them to say and do some pretty bad shit, and they're people that have had a lot of hardship in their lives, you know what I mean? They're traumatized by something and they don't know how to cope with it, and so they turn to alcohol because they saw the people before them do the same thing. And
it's a habit.
Yeah.
It's sometimes it's not even intentional.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
It's just it's a habit, and it's what they feel might be socially acceptable or what, like, it might be some peer pressure and trying to fit in, and
yeah,
they don't mean to.
No, not at all. And but me, like when I was a little kid, I came to the conclusion that my family must be allergic to alcohol because, when you're allergic to something, you break out in hives when you're around it or something like that. Well, my family broke out in handcuffs when they drank it.
Oh shit.
And so I knew something was kind of wrong pretty early on. But anyway, became a horse lover, stayed a horse lover, and I got older, and I was about 14. When I was 14 years old, my family and I were involved in a car accident, and the only person killed in that wreck was my mother. So my mom got killed right in front of me, and that was a major, what would you call a major
turning point in
my life. And
you're still a kid, like you're 14.
Yeah, I was a kid still, and I was like a colt that lost the mare. I was wandering around kind of aimlessly. I didn't know what I was doing, where I was going. And by the time I was 21, I was fortunate enough that I came back from college one year during the summer. I needed a job, right? So my Uncle Mouse, you know, he's a guy that I've always looked up to because Mouse, ever since I was like this big, I watched that guy build a horse in his mind and take a mare and a stud and put them together to make that thought come true. And then watch
on the bucking horse side of
on
things?
the bucking horse side of things, and take that thought all the way to the Wrangler National Finals in Las Vegas. You know, and he's been my hero. He's been one of my heroes for that. He's like the Indian John Wayne. You know what I mean? And he's one of them guys, when he stands up to talk, people get quiet. Like, they got a lot of respect for that old man. And anyway, so I came home, needed a job.
And you call him Mouse, but what's his is his name Mouse?
His real name's Truman.
Truman.
Yeah, but he got the nickname Mouse. That's crazy on reserves. I don't know if it's the same in Canada. You know people by their nickname, not by their
not by their actual name.
Yeah, by their actual name.
Ted's my made up name.
Oh, it is.
It's not my real name either.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's your real name?
William.
William?
Yeah.
How'd you
Edward.
get Ted?
I was named after my grandfather.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They called him. He was William Edward, and they called him Ted as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Sorry, I was wondering if he went by a different name but more folks might know. But it sounds like everybody knows him as Mouse.
Yeah, everybody knows him as Mouse.
Okay.
And so anyway, I came back. I needed a job, you know, to get some cheeseburger and entry fee money.
Yeah, as one does when they're in their early 20s.
Yeah, and he
college summertime.
Yeah, and he was an outfitter. He owned a trail riding business on the border of Glacier Park. And so I went to work for him to be one of his trail guides.
And
so
is that in Browning area?
In East Glacier, right outside of Browning.
Okay. Before the hill, like before going across the hill to go to like Whitefish and
right before you head into the mountains.
Hill, yeah.
And so anyway, I went to work for him, and you know, I was riding broncs at the time, and Mouse, every day I showed up, I'd go out and I'd gather all the trail horses, bring them in, and then all the other guides would show up, and they would they'd start saddling and graining the horses, and Mouse would always wait. We clicked, right, because we're horse lovers. And he was like, he grew up with my grandpa, my dad's dad. His name was Cap. Mouse and Cap were like brothers. You know, they're first cousins, but they was raised together. And he was a bucking horse guy. And so Mouse must, you know, got to missing his brother Cap, and, you know, saw some of Cap in me. And he'd wave me over into his office every morning. We'd drink coffee, and he'd tell me bucking horse stories and stories about my grandpa. And I fell in love with the breeding side of bucking horses from having coffee with Mouse.
How many of the trail horses were bucking horses that didn't work out?
A couple of them. Yeah, a couple of them were.
You didn't tell the trail rider folks that.
No. Often. It was crazy. Like one day, hey, babe. One time, my cousin, he's a great bronco, probably one of the best bronc riders come off our reservation. His name's Alan Cole Gobert.
Yeah.
He's a bit younger than me. He was working for Mouse, and one day he's trying to set his bronc saddle, his binds on his bronc saddle.
Like just in the grass, like in the yard?
Yeah, in one of the stalls, and that horse that he was getting on had been bucked before, and I thought, I was like, should I say something? Or should I just leave him? And anyway, he gets on that horse and he cinches him up, and
just to he's just fitting his saddle.
He's just checking his binds, and
geez.
He jumps on that horse, and we're like on lunch break, and we're right in the middle of all the stalls and stuff, and that horse had been bucked before. And Alan pulls it into him, and he like pulls his back. I said, hey, you should take your trail cinch off, man. And so he'll be all right. So I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna watch and enjoy.
Did you get your video camera out?
Oh, I had a flip phone at the time. And, anyway, Alan crawls on that horse, and he goes to check his binds, and he's kind of checking. I could see that horse blowing and humping up, and I saw the back. You know, when you see the back end of that saddle start rising, I could see that back end kind of coming up, and that horse's ears were pinning. And Alan just reaches up and gasses that horse, sticks his feet right in his neck, and holy shit, did that horse come apart. That was anyway. That horse.
Is this inside in the stall in a barn?
No, it's out in
outside.
The open.
Okay.
And
luckily,
anyway, that horse blows up, and I mean goes to bucking now, like not like trailing out across there. This horse is in one spot,
set up and
cracking.
You're like, this one needs to go back on the truck.
Yeah, and Alan's like, he's got a hold of that lead rope, and he's trying to pull him up. And anyway, I look over, and some tourists are coming to book a ride, and they like freaked out. They're stopped, and they see this, a wreck about to happen. I look over at them tourists, and I look at Alan. Alan's trying to pull him up, and I look at the tourists, and I thought, well, it's too late now. And I yell at him, "Spur, you son of a bitch!" Anyway, he grabs his that like it's a buck rein, and he just one of the best bronc rides I seen anybody put on was just
In the pasture.
yeah, like
In the
right,
pen.
just right there in the stalls. And anyway, it was pretty cool. So that's
Oh, man.
yeah. Mouse got a kick out of it. His wife, my Aunt Joy, didn't though.
I guess not.
Yeah, well, Alan about got fired
It's
that
not
day.
good. Not good advertising for the trail riding.
Sorry, I went off.
Not
on
all the
that.
horses are like this. I promise.
Yeah, sorry, I went off on the off subject there.
That's okay. It happens.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna have a lot of that happen today, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
I like the randomness.
for sure.
So you're saying between college, we were going somewhere with it. We were between college and going to see like going to the Vita Ranch. There's some more story in here that I want to get to in those years.
Okay.
And where you ended up, like you said, you were broke and didn't have anything, and you're in a bad place, and you called George. You go to his place. Seems
Yeah.
like that was a turning point for you, was going to see him. But I want more of the story in
between
In
there?
between, yeah.
Yeah, so
I want to know.
So anyway, I got to visiting with Mouse, and we'd visit every morning and talk about bucking horses. And finally, I look at him and I realize, he's old. He ain't gonna be around forever, and he's not contracting no more. And so I asked him one day. I said, "Hey, Uncle, what's your plans with your bucking horses?" And he said, "Well, my boy, I'm going to hospitals now instead of rodeos. What do you got in mind?" And I told him, "Well, I watched you since I was this big. Build a horse in your mind. Go put a mare and a stud together to make that thought hit the ground. Then I watched you take that thought all the way to the Wrangler National Finals in Las Vegas. I can't let that go. Will you sell me some?" And he agreed to it. And so anyway, we went to going through his horses and bucking them and figuring out what was working, what wasn't. And anyway, finally the day come when we go to pick the horses that I wanted to buy. And we go and corral them, we get them in. And my favorite mare, her name is Marie Laveau. She's kind of separated herself when we get them in the corral, and she's staring at me. And
She picked you.
yeah, and I was gonna leave her because she was like the best one. I was gonna leave her out of respect for that old man. And he kind of looks over at her and he says, and like I said, he's like the Indian John Wayne. He says, "You want her?" And I said, "Are you sure?" And he said, "Yeah, you pick them. That way, if they don't buck, it ain't my effing fault." So anyway, I get her loaded. I get them separated, loaded on the trailer,
And take him back to your place.
yeah. Anyway, I go to I go to write the check, and I tear the check out, and I go to hand it to him. And he's the type of guy, like he's always shown, like, how them old gruff cowboys are. They show you they love you, but they ain't never gonna say it.
No, they're not gonna say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not gonna hug you.
Yeah.
They're gonna shake your hand. That might be about
Yeah.
as close to get. There's no hugging involved.
And like when I always tell him I love him and hug him, but when I hug him, he gives that, like they give that little awkward 2-pat on the shoulder and
Yeah.
they step away from you.
Yeah.
That's what he'd always do. And anyway, that day I tore the check out after we loaded the horses, and I went to hand it to him. And he looked at me and he said, "I hope they give you a good start, my boy. I love you." And he gave me like a real hug. Like
Oh, wow.
he grabbed me and embraced me, and I just start tearing up, and I said, "Holy shit, you finally said it." And I had to write you a check first, but you finally said it. And
Oh, wow.
after that, he kind of said, "Well, yeah, the bigger the check, the more I love you."
I thought you were gonna say he was gonna tear up the check.
No.
He kept it. He kept it.
No, he kept it, man. Yeah.
That's so. When did you start with the bucking horse then? What year was that?
What year was that? It was probably about 6 years ago,
6 or 7 years ago.
something like that. Yeah.
Oh wow. So
Yeah.
then you're a contractor, and that's expensive shit to do.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
but I always tell, my girlfriend and I, Kay, we talk about it with people. People say, them are expensive. That's expensive to hobby, And I say, well,
Yeah. It's not a hobby. It's a business.
I tell them I've spent way more money on a lot dumber shit. So, this is a good addiction. You know what I mean?
That's true. As you say, good medicine.
Yeah, good medicine.
Is that where that name comes from, or what's the story?
Yeah, because horses have always been good medicine for us, so we decided to call it Good Medicine Bucking Horses.
Yeah. And is it the two of you together?
Yeah, two of us together.
Do you
yeah.
want to jump in and talk with us again here for a second?
You want a chair?
Okay, so Good Medicine. Talk about the name and then get everything going. And we got to introduce Kay as well.
Yeah, this is my beautiful girlfriend, Kay. She's from Merritt, BC.
And where did you guys meet? You had a fun line about that.
Oh, I'm a good stud. I jumped a lot of fences. You even jumped a wall at the border.
Yeah. Okay, but you two meet, and is this did you have the Buckin Horse Company before, or how long have you been together? Like, tell us the story.
So we've been together 3 years, and I got the Buckin Horse Company started like
6 or 7 years ago.
Before I met her. But then, when she came into the picture, she really helped out. She saved our asses, because there was a few decisions here and there that I could have made that would have definitely been detrimental, been fatal to the Buckin horses and the merchandise. And she put the skids to that, and she's long and short of it is she's the brain. You know what I mean?
The business manager.
Yeah. So.
And what's your background?
So like the rodeo background and stuff.
Yeah, and business and what did you do before?
Okay, so
what all are you doing now? Do you have another job too, or I don't know the whole story.
So I grew up in a roughy family. My dad's a bull rider.
What's his name?
David Sterling.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have a brother named David too.
Yeah.
He's also a bull rider. But I have
also David Sterling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I have an uncle. His name is Sam Spahan. I don't really know a whole lot of his history, but he made a pretty big name for himself down here in the States. Rode in OMAC and
he won some pretty big pro rodeos back then.
Yeah, he won some pretty big pro rodeos.
And from Merritt too.
Yeah, he was originally
really?
from Coldwater Res, but he moved down to Arizona.
Oh.
But I don't know a whole lot about my family. Well, his side anyways. But I grew up in a bull riding roughy family, and just. Mm-hmm.
And then so talk about the clothing company side of things and the Buckin Horse Company now. Like, you guys have got a big booth over there in the next building, in the next room over there and whatnot. But you talk about a couple decisions, like what was going on that Kay comes and helps and bails you out on some stuff here.
I guess how should I say it? When you start to have success and stuff, it attracts a lot of people.
And some sharks.
And some sharks, yeah. And Kay put the skids to the sharks. And anyway, so if it wasn't for her coming in,
I leeches too.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have any we wouldn't have any Buckin horses. Probably wouldn't have the merchandise company. She came in and she saved it. And me, I do the social media stuff and things like that. I handle the horse stuff and what we're gonna breed to what and all that, and but Kay handles all the business stuff. And I mean, I have some good ideas for merchandise now and again, but that's all her. Yeah, so
that's awesome. The stuff looks great. How did Isaiah come into the fold on the design side with a bunch of your designs?
Well,
I like his art. He's got some really cool stuff.
Oh, and we needed some logos, and I had a friend do our first logo, and then we needed some more stuff, you know what I mean, because when you got merchandise you kind of need to be diverse, and
as we know.
Yeah, for sure. And so we
and some works and some doesn't, and then you gotta get rid of the ones that don't, and then try and buy more of the ones that do, hopefully. And
for sure. And we had a friend say, well, I use Isaiah Stewart, and so I gave Isaiah a call, and he was he's been our guy ever since.
They've been awesome. BFFs ever since.
Best friends?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, talk about the Buckin Horse and some of the success you've had so far. You got a couple that went to the circuit finals in the last few years now, you were saying.
I was riding in the Columbia circuit, and we met up with Mark and Lynette McMillan out of Soap Lake, Washington with Aces Wild Pro Rodeo. And we had a couple of horses, and we told them, hey, you guys, we can't get these horses bucked. Can you get some outs on them for us? And they said, sure. So we sent them to them guys, and lo and behold, both them buggers made the Columbia River Circuit finals. After that, Mark and Lynette was like, hey, let's make this legal. Let's put you guys on our card. You guys will have you guys buy into our company. And you guys will be part owners in Aces Wild. So that's what we did, and now nobody can say a damn thing.
How long till we get one at the Thomas and Mack with the big yellow chutes?
Hopefully it's pretty quick, because like a lot of those guys that are like, consistently in the top 15, they're all our friends. You know what I mean?
And your cousin.
And my cousin. Yeah, we'll chase
at
Brooks.
least one cousin probably.
Yeah, one cousin. And
so far
they're them horses are drawing a lot of attention because they're not treacherous, they're not man killers, they're not they're all because we work with them since they're babies in the bucking shoot. They ain't gonna kill you in a shoot.
That's kind, because there's some that will try and kill you.
Yeah. And so anyway, they got their eye on us. They've been watching, and they so hopefully they'll vote some in here sometime soon.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to talk about the name, Good Medicine Bucking Horses. How it seems like it came from Bad Medicine. Maybe it's the other side of things, but tell us the story of how the name came to be. Who named it? Was it your name, or was it Kay? Did she end up being part of it, or what? Like,
so we both named it that. Like our,
So that name's new then. It was just you were probably on your own with your own name before with the horses with Aces Wild, or like what?
Yeah. Oh, I wasn't. So Kay.
What's the timeline?
I wasn't even. See, how can I say this?
Any way you want, but we'll try not to offend too many people.
Yeah, I was trying to remember.
Whatever.
I was trying to remember when we. I think we were together when we came up with that name. So the name Good Medicine in Native culture, it anything that makes your heart happy, that brings you, you know what I mean, makes you feel. How would you say it? Like joyous, happy things that are we call that good medicine, and horses have always been that for me. So that's why we decided to call them Good Medicine Bucking Horses. Yeah, that's where that name come from.
And I'm finding it kind of funny right now because bucking horses are still bucking horses, and horses might be good medicine for you, but sometimes they'll give some of those guys some bad medicine when they buck them off, chuck them on the ground.
Oh yeah,
but they're still nice. They're still probably nice horses, but
yeah,
as you say in the bucking shoot, but they know their job. They got to buck.
Yeah, for sure. We try to. I don't know. We like them. We like it when them guys make money on horses. There's some contractors out there that get a kick out of it. When guys get bucked off, but we want them guys to. We want to raise the type of horses that are money horses. You know what I mean? Horses that guys will drive across the country to get on. You know what I mean? Help you get some money. So, but every now and again they do buck people off.
So tell us quick a couple of the top ones in the string and some of your top mares and whatnot. That like the one you got from Mouse.
Yeah.
That horse still around?
Marie Laveau. Yeah, she's around. She we actually got a stud colt out of her last year. Out of Warren Johnson, out of Jardine, Montana. He owns Hell's Aurora and Outfitters. Well, he's an outfitter and he's a bucking horse, man. He's got some of the best bloodlines in the world. And we partnered up with Warren on her, and we actually got a stud colt out of her last year out of his stud fringe jacket, who bucked last night here at the NFR. And so,
right on.
Yeah, so we got that stud colt, and we're going to use him to breed when he's a little bit older and stuff. And yeah, Marie Laveau, she's one of our mares. What would you call it in the quarter horse industry?
Broodmare, is that right?
Yeah, she's a broodmare. What would you call her? A blue hen?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. every
she's laying a lot of golden eggs.
Yeah, every horse that mare's thrown
goose.
every horse that mare's thrown has been a bucker.
Really?
Yeah. So our horse that made the Columbia finals twice now is her name's Stacy. And she's a Marie Laveau daughter. Did you ever hear?
Marie Laveau is Stacy's mom?
Yeah. Did you ever hear that song, Stacy's Mom?
Oh, yeah.
That's why we call her, that's why we called that mare Stacy, is because Stacy's mom's got it going on.
Yeah.
She's always throwing a bucker, so.
So what's the next, so was the stud that she threw, is that horse's name going to be Stifler now, or what?
A Stifler? Oh, I don't know. Oh, it's a good, I didn't even think about that. Possibly.
Okay. We might have to do a naming naming rights on that one somehow.
Yeah.
Maybe I got to sponsor that one with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man. Okay, so we got to talk about the video side of things. Like, what's been some of the stuff that's really took off for you and really like made it be a thing for you online? Like,
man, for me, it's always just been being authentic. being rigorously authentic, doing hard work, and surrendering the outcome, man. Because like, you can't make somebody like you.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And
They're gonna be their choice.
It's too hard to try to be something that you're not. You know what I mean? So if you just are yourself, no matter what, the right people will come into your life, and the wrong people are definitely going to get the hell out of your life. So that's always been my thing when I do the videos and stuff, is just be who I am. Don't try to put on no mask or none of that stuff. Just be who you are and say how you feel. And like I said, the right people come and the wrong people leave. It's been worked out pretty good.
What about Kevin Costner's Horizon series?
That was a lot of fun. I got to work on that first one, doing some stunt riding and
yeah. And like bronc riding, stunt riding, or like
no, just
are you done bronc riding? Or are you still?
No, I took this last year off just to. We were pretty busy with our businesses, and I had a couple of opportunities I'm not allowed to reveal yet. But
oh, really?
They're gonna. You guys will
stuff you filmed. I'm assuming or recorded.
Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Dang, that's exciting. There's some big stuff here though, between the Horizon side of things. You've done Flint Show before, Luke Branquino. But also, for those that don't know, Dougie's been to the National High School Finals Rodeo Qualifier, College National Finals as well. Reserve champion in the Big Sky region. That's a big deal to do that well in the bronc riding side of things too.
Yeah, it was crazy too, because like
that's remember, where you got your nickname too.
Yeah, like it was when I was a junior in college, and I was. It's totally different coming from growing up on a reservation. You get on a lot of tryouts, right?
Yeah.
You learn a lot of kids that grow up that want to be cowboys on the reservation. They learn how to save their ass. But when it comes to riding something that bucks, I mean, like actually bucks, it's a totally different ball game. And so when I got out of high school, at the high school rodeos, you get them bloopers and you get some tryouts and stuff. But then when you get to college, it's
start getting some better ones around.
Yeah, I mean, the guys that are putting on the college rodeos, they're bringing their colts that are going to be at the national finals in the next couple of years. Mm-hmm. You're getting on the wolves. They're throwing you to the wolves, and it's either going to make you or it's going to break you, and them things buck. And I got my ass kicked for a long time, but I was either brave or stupid enough to keep coming back. And when I was a junior in college, it was crazy. It was in the fall season. It was Dick Lyman out of Great Falls, Montana. He was the Great Falls rodeo coach. And I was getting my ass handed to me a lot at them college rodeos. And he told me, he said, Dougie, you're getting your ass bucked off because you're trying to spur. Keep doing it. And so anyway, I did. And I got bucked off all fall season. And come springtime, I just said, you know what? I'm going to throw caution to the wind, and I'm going to think like Billy Etbauer, because Billy Etbauer didn't worry about points. He didn't worry about money. He didn't worry about none of that stuff, because it makes you think some type of way you shouldn't. And so anyway, come springtime, I just said, I'm going to go have fun, and that's what I did. And I remember we were at the Missoula College Rodeo, the regional finals, and I drew... I think I drew 2 Jess Martin bucking horses, Jess Martin and Fred Hershey bucking horses. Yeah. And they've got a lot of horses that have been to the national finals and stuff. And I remember I got on this horse, and it was in the short round. This horse was bucking across the arena, and I was getting kind of loose and getting jacked up out of there, but the whistle blew. And so by the time the whistle blew, I was already getting bucked off, so I just bailed. Boot went flying, and when I hit the ground, the announcer said, "He did it! He just made the college national finals rodeo!" And I didn't even know till he said it. And I started,
oh, really?
Yeah, and I started crying.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it just all happened from just being myself and just having fun. And yeah, that's pretty wild. That when you just stop worrying about stuff, don't worry about it. Good things will come to you.
Is that where that came from, or is that something that your mom told you?
That kind of just came to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. So what's next for you? And I got to go back to the Horizon thing though. Did you meet Costner much, or was he kind of like?
Yeah, I got to meet him.
Oh, you did.
It was crazy because
did he know who you were?
No, he didn't. He had no idea.
Oh, really?
And so anyway, we were. It was our first day of shooting, and we had to shoot this scene where we were like running bareback, like all the Indians were running bareback through this creek bottom, and. Anyway, one of the guys ahead of me, his horse kept crow hopping. Every time we would take off, this horse would be crow hopping. And you know, me, like watching a movie, like and a horse starts crow hopping, it looks a little jacked up. Like it just kind of throws everything. Yeah, it just throws everything off. And so anyway, we're getting ready to switch to a different scene, and Kevin's there, and he's directing.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, we're gonna go to the next scene, and we're gonna move location. And he was getting ready to jump in his car, and I yelled at him, "Hey, Kevin!" And everybody's like, no, you don't talk to Kevin. And he spun around and he looked at me and he's like, yeah, what's up? And I'm just a peon stunt rider guy. And
he doesn't know anything.
He comes up and I said, hey, this horse keeps crow hopping with this guy. Do you want us to like chase him out of it or just let it go? Like, what do you want us to do? And Kevin was like, one of the horses is misbehaving? And I said, yeah, this one right here. And he looked at the Wrangler and went like this. So I got that horse fired.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
But so did they reshoot it then at all, or what happened?
I can't remember what they did. But anyway, after I told him that, he was like, what's your name? And I said, oh, I'm Dougie Hall. He was like, oh, thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to meet you. And he was just really cool.
Really?
Yeah. It was pretty nuts. But yeah, I got the assistant director. What are they called? ADs? They kind of got pissed at me because you're not supposed to talk to the head honcho and stuff.
Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of hierarchy.
Yeah, you got to go through them. I just I kind of took their job away. They got mad at me. But
oh, shit.
Yeah, he's cool. And it was funny because, you ever watch Dances with Wolves? So, I was, what's the name? I was reading this book, Matthew McConaughey's book called Green Lights.
That's a good book.
Yeah, and Matthew McConaughey, in that book, he says somebody told him you got to be like wet shit because, when you step in wet shit, it sticks to you and that you remember it. He said you got to be like wet shit. And so I thought, all right, well, I gotta make Kevin remember me somehow.
Yeah.
And so anyway,
was that before, or was that before you yelled at him?
That was before I yelled at him. That's not why I yelled at him. But anyway, we were doing another scene, and all of us Indians were all in line, and we got to go riding by this, we go riding up this river bottom.
What was the costume for that scene?
I don't know. It just they had us wearing like headbands and stuff like that, and I had tattoos, so they had a long sleeve shirt on me and stuff.
Yeah.
And anyway, so all of us Indians were all in a line. We go riding by him. And you guys have watched Dances with Wolves? And anyway, Kevin's on the beach of that river there, and he's talking with Tatanka Means, one of the main actors, and he's doing his directing thing and all that kind of stuff. And we all go riding by him to get set. And I look over at Kevin, and I was just waiting for him. I was just staring at him all creepy like. And anyway, he finally feels me staring at him, and he looks up and he sees me, and I say, Lieutenant! Do you remember that scene? The Indian kids, they can't say lieutenant. They call him lieutenant. And so I yelled at him, Lieutenant! and all them other guys start yelling it behind me. Holy shit, he laughed. He thought it was hilarious. But,
oh, man.
Yeah.
So he remembers you now.
Yeah, I think so. I hope so.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Did you guys get connected afterwards? After filming, did you get to shake his hand or say hello or anything like that? Or
I seen him at a dinner and stuff, and he probably don't remember me now, but yeah, I just I don't know. I guess I just had to do it because I'd regret it if I didn't. I thought,
yeah, you got to take a chance to say hi.
I thought this might get me fired, but it's worth it.
But it's worth it.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know this though about going to school, University of Montana Western. Is that Dillon?
Yeah, in Dillon.
In Dillon, yeah. But you actually have a business administration degree and a bachelor's degree, and it's on the horsemanship side of things.
Yep.
So I'm sorry, I don't know, but what is natural horsemanship?
Natural horsemanship. It's how would you say it? It's learning how to ask for what you want with sugar instead of salt.
With horses.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because me, I grew up
This is a horse training program?
Yeah, it teaches you. They should call it a natural humanship program. It changes you,
Oh wow.
your way of thinking and how you go about things, rather than trying to force things. You know what I mean? It's learning how to act, like looking at things through the horse's point of view and things like
really?
that. Yeah, I don't look at horses the same after I went through that program.
I guess not.
Yeah.
And then on the business administration side of things, that's probably come in handy on these new ventures for you.
Yeah, it's helped out. It definitely helped out a lot. I got a lot of knowledge from Montana Western on the business side of things, and a lot of my business education though come from Uncle Mouse.
With his trail riding business, right?
With the stuff that he told me, he said, how did he tell me that one time? He said, you could spend your whole life like, I can't remember how he said it, like making somebody else rich, or you can be your own man. He's the type of guy. He taught me how to be my own man, think for myself, and do something for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sounds like a great mentor in your life.
Yeah. He's probably one of the biggest influences I've ever had.
Yeah.
He's a great guy, great human being.
You mentioned earlier on more of the growing up side of things, and then being you kind of talked about it beforehand before you really got going on the bucking horse side of things, and on the social media stuff that you were, like you said, you were broke and didn't have much money, and you're like, what how did you start really getting things picking up again to kind of go the right way? Like, it was getting back to the horse though, it sounds like.
Yeah, it was just getting back to horses and being my own man, and especially like not worrying about what people think of you, because it's just not healthy. You know what I mean? Whenever I thought about what somebody was saying about me, I just saw my bank account going dry. But when you're authentic and you're yourself without apology, that it's like that bank account grows. You know what I mean?
And not only actually with money, but like probably with friends and people you surround yourself with too.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey?
Most definitely.
It probably helps in a lot of ways.
It's a lot. Like Mouse told me, you're only as good as the company you keep. So if you hang out with 5 professionals, you're going to be the 6. You hang out with 5 champions, you're going to be the 6. And if you hang out with here's
another Browning cowboy.
If you hang out with 5
Dakota, come on over here.
How you guys doing?
Dakota, you want to pick up a mic and talk with us for a second?
Perfect.
Okay, so how far? I know that your address is Browning.
Yeah.
So you guys have to be close somehow. I don't know the story, but
never heard of this guy.
Hold on. We're still rolling. You never met this guy? You're just from the same place? No, but seriously though, what's the story? I don't know how you guys would know each other. Besides, you're both from the same place.
We grew up together, actually.
Yeah. I guess similar age, because you're probably, 32, 33?
So we actually graduated same year.
Oh, no
same
way.
High school.
No shit.
Yeah. No, I actually made Doug skip a couple classes for the first time in his high school career.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so for those that might not know, we've had a couple special guests here already today, but Dakota Lewis, he's wearing his PBR World Finals jacket from, I don't know which year that would have been from now.
This one is 2022, I believe.
2022. Yeah, and aren't you on one of the teams too, or have been part of the teams before?
So I was a part of the Austin Gamblers the first season there.
Yeah.
And then I started to rodeo. So that's
back in the PRCA side of things. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been getting a rope quite a bit. That's been a passion of mine. So
on the all-around side of things again?
Yes, sir.
And you've been roping forever, because your dad rode bulls too.
Yeah, so my dad, he was an INFR world champion in the bull riding.
So were you.
Yep, yes, sir.
Twice, right?
3 times.
3 times.
Yep.
I don't have it all memorized. Sorry, Dakota.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Dakota spent a lot of time up our way. That's how we know each other, from when I was doing a bunch of video stuff back in the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the connection there.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I known Ted since he was cracking 90-point bull rides out.
Heck yeah.
I only stayed on a couple times.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, but so you guys know each other, like went to high school together, it sounds like, or went to school the whole time.
Yeah, no, we rode steers against each other at a young age. We started out right there, same age, so I feel like we kind of went through all the levels. We actually have a inside, I wouldn't call it a bet, it was more of an agreement.
Yeah.
That at some point in time, if Doug was to get on a bull, I would get on a bronc.
Uh-oh.
And Doug already got on his bull,
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
So
I
you
wanna-
still got debt to pay, it sounds like? Or what?
Yeah, no, I'm feeling it though.
Uh-oh.
I'm wanting to go, but as soon as I get healed up, I'm gonna get on the Brown.
Get on a Bronc?
Yeah.
Well, that you could more easily win the all-around that way, I guess, too. Like
I'm-
the hard way on the rough stock side only.
I'm not too sure. I hadn't been on one, so there's them nerves of actually doing it.
Shoot, how old were we? Like 17, 18?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, he had a brand new Phoenix vest, and I entered the rookie bull ride over at the Majestic.
Yeah.
And when
what is the Majestic? I don't know what that is.
It's
An indoor arena over there in Kalispell, Montana.
Oh, is
Yeah.
that where they had that bull riding? Like Shane Gunderson
Yep.
used to put on that thing in the wintertime?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
That same
Majestic Valley Arena.
yeah.
Right on.
So they had a winter series every 2 weeks, and for us up there, it was the only thing to go to. Well, they had novice bull riding that weekend, and
Yeah.
that's where Doug had entered up.
They weren't novice bulls though. Like that one, I got, I got on.
There's no
him.
novice in that bull?
Yeah, no, there's no novice in that guy. Like I got on and I had Dakota's brand new vest. I thought I was gonna
Probably
be
just demolished it.
I thought I was gonna be a bull rider after that. Like I thought I was gonna love it. I had a brand new glove and I got in there. And Dakota and Colin Johnson are pulling my rope and. Anyway, I nod and that bull like comes out and just starts getting it like right there in the gate. Like was he like 2 jumps me?
In Doug's defense, I had never seen this bull buck that hard ever, and I've seen this bull go quite a few times, and he had his day with Doug.
I come down and he just double barrels me right in my chest. Put 2 big old holes right in Dakota's new vest.
Brand new vest?
Yeah,
Brand new
brand new.
vest.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I got off. I got up. I stumbled back to the chutes. He kind of rung my bell. And I took my glove off, grabbed my rope, and I just like gave it away. After that,
Dakota, you need to take this back.
yeah, I was done.
done.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you guys what's so we talked about it a little bit before on the honestly on the addiction side of things and growing up in Browning, like it's not easy to stay out of that way, but you guys have both been very successful coming from at odds where a lot of your friends maybe had a tougher time.
Yeah, no. For me, being there from Browning, I mean, I love the area, love the ranch, and there are, a lot of hardships, underlying issues that really people don't want to speak about or face within addictions or whatever you have.
Mental health side of things,
Mental
honestly.
health, physical and mental health is a huge priority. I know for sure growing up, Doug, he was a cross-country runner, and I wrestled and played basketball, so we was always physically active, just to help us on the rodeo side as well, and we had a pretty good group of friends. We didn't like to cause no trouble. We went to the rodeos, we had fun, we enjoyed what we did, we loved it, and I feel like we was kind of just trying to lead by example with doing something that we truly cared about, and for us, being on the stage that we got to be now, for everyone back home, it kind of just pushes forward of, the capability that we all have within our own selves, regardless of the hardships that you go through, where you come from, you have a good attitude and put forth a good effort towards something, more times than not, you're going to have a good outcome.
Well, and you guys can be great role models in the community too now for the next generation of kids growing up in the area too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what ended up help saving my life was somebody having the courage to tell me their story, and I found myself in somebody else's story, and hopefully we can give them, a survival guide that might be able to help some.
Who was your positive influence that side then, Dougie? You just mentioned that. Who was that?
Well, one of them would be Mouse, because he's
Yeah.
a guy that struggled, and I feel like I can talk about it because he talks about it, in public and stuff, and he's proud of being sober. He told me one time, he struggled with alcohol when he was younger, and he's a guy that had hit a rock bottom and gotten sober and changed the way he thought, and then he went on to be one of the best bucking horse breeders in the country. Like, you can't go anywhere and people hear my last name, they're like, do you know Mouse? Anywhere in pro rodeo, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Mouse is one of them, and my dad, my mom, it's just we were fortunate. We had a lot of good, what I call 90-point people around us to help us on with our lives.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Well, and Dakota, how about the success Dougie's had in the past few years? He's gone on to kick some serious ass lately.
Hey, I tell you what, ever since we were young, I love this guy. He's been a huge inspiration in my life, and I feel like we really helped each other, boost forward. And man, to see this guy have the success that he has, I'm super proud of him. So yeah, no, I'm
Proud of you too, brother.
when they say, do you know Dougie Hall? I always tease around, but we seriously consider each other brothers. Like we've been through some hardships and in some real life situations, and we've been to some highlights. I was just seeing on Facebook the other day, there's a picture of Doug on my bucking shoe actually at the pro rodeo in Regina. And I don't know what he's doing with his hands.
In the summertime or in the
the wintertime?
The Maple Leaf finals.
Yeah.
Correct? Yeah.
So when it was just a rodeo.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So Tyson from Bar C5.
Tyson Cardinal, yeah.
Yeah, he was standing on there. I was on one of his bulls. I ended up winning the round. But Doug is standing on there too, and he has a shirt like he has a hairy chest or something. Like all the buttons are wide open, and he has both of his hands like this. Not too sure if he was just trying to ride him with me.
Clap.
Yeah,
he's trying to clap for you.
But yeah, no, that come up on Facebook the other day. It kind of made me laugh.
Showing off his chest pubes a little bit.
Yeah, it took me like 20-some years to get 2 of them. I was proud.
Yeah, no, it was awesome because they had a big cowboy dance right there afterwards, and we was walking around. We was walking around trying to get something to eat, and they turned on Cotton Eye Joe, and Doug, he just started bouncing around out there, started getting after it. Pretty soon, the entire dance floor, the crowd, people not even interested, was all hollering at this guy.
Yeah.
So I had to whip out Snapchat and get it on Snapchat for a little while. As soon as he seen the video was out, he started kind of taming it down. But this guy had some moves.
And that was when he was riding too. That was part of it, eh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's the other thing too. We've high school rodeoed. I seen this guy get on his first few horses, and
yeah.
Like I said, I'm super
Watched
proud
me
of
get
him.
Killed off quite a bit.
I had to give it to him because up there, it's bucking horse country, and whether you're a beginner or whoever you are, you're probably going to get on some ranked bucking horses.
Buckers.
So yeah, had to give him that for having the courage to want to do it because I sure didn't.
Yeah, no, he's always right there on my chute helping me out all the time and stuff. I appreciate you.
Dakota, what's something that people might not know about Dougie, or something we could ask him that I might not have thought about yet or might not have got to?
Man, there's so many good stuff, so actually one time he came with me to Wickenburg, Arizona. There's a big team roping going on down there. We was down to our last couple $100, went down there on a hope and a prayer and a dream, and didn't win anything. So we was both,
I thought something great was going to happen here.
So we was kind of sitting there thinking, like, how are we going to get home?
Shit, we don't got any money to get home.
So we there was one more roping, and we talked it over. I'm like, man, I don't know.
You guys
what do you
roping
think?
together?
No, I was the one
I was
roping.
just there.
Yeah.
This guy,
Chauffeur.
he was my motivator. He had me going. I had to rope 2 feet.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I ended up going to one last one. Ended up placing, winning a little bit, and got us home. But we, it was kind of funny to look back and kind of see, the priorities we have now compared to then, I guess.
Yeah.
How far we've grown.
We ended up over here. I can't remember. It was like in that same time frame.
Yeah.
We was broker in hell. And then we went and bought like $80 steaks and
oh dang.
Yeah, spent the last little bit of our money. That wasn't very smart, but we had to enjoy Vegas.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thanks for jumping by, Dakota.
Hey, no, I was actually coming in here to see this Doug.
Yeah.
I knew that his booth was over here, so
yeah.
I had just gotten into town, and it was kind of crazy. This was the first row that I showed up in, so.
Well, that's great. Thanks for stopping by. Good to see you.
Appreciate you guys. Good seeing you.
brother.
Okay, Dougie, we've had a couple friends stop by, and it's been a little busy in the booth. I've appreciated having you here to visit with me, and I'm sorry I didn't have more time and spend more time on the homework side of things. I wish I would have, so we could get more in depth on more of it. But I love your message and what you're doing, and I appreciate the role model you are for your people and for a lot of people out there. And I'm inspired by what you're doing.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah. And I wish you a ton of success. I hope it goes amazing for you, and I hope you have a. I hope it goes great for you. Like I hope you got lots. I hope you got a couple horses here in the next few years too.
I hope so too, man. That's what we're gunning for. We want to get some. We want to get some horses here. We want to keep having a booth. We want to keep doing what we're doing, man. It's been a lot of fun. I wish you success in this stuff too.
Yeah, thank you. What do you think has been part of the success so far? Like what? And like going back to Meng, when Meng tells you have a gift but you're not using it, like I'm impressed that you took that feedback. 'Cause some people are like, oh yeah, thanks, cool, but like you actually took action on it and you did something with it.
Yeah, it's not like one of my uncles told me one time. Don't use this and talk about it. Use your ass and do something. And so,
has that got anything to do with the quote about having multiple horses?
Oh no, that's when I was what the hell? How did that? Mouse said that to me one time. I can't remember what the subject was, but I was trying to do too many things at once, and nothing was getting done. And Mouse told me, "My boy, you got a lot of horses to ride, but remember, you only got one ass." So, anyway, that's where that one comes from.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about what's next for you? What's coming up besides like working on the horses and trying to get some stuff down here? Like you got a few things in the works, and you've got the clothing side of things, and like I hope you guys have had a great week down here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, what else? What do you got coming up next? What can you tell us about so far?
So I've been a part of a couple of projects that I'm really excited about. Like I said, I'm not allowed to reveal it yet.
Yeah.
And just keep trucking along, keep doing what we're doing, just grow what we're doing, grow the Buckin Horse Company, grow the Buckin Horse herd, quality over quantity, grow the merchandise business and grow the speaking business. Just keep doing what we're doing, and ride with our eyes front. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have the vision out ahead of you.
Another thing Mouse told me, he said, "My boy, watch your own gate. Because if you watch your neighbor's gate, shit's gonna get out of yours." So I'm gonna try to watch my own gate.
What are some of your favorite quotes that way then? Made me think now, but what are some of the good pieces of advice or some of those good quotes you could pass on to the listeners today?
Oh, about from I call them Mouseisms from Uncle Mouse.
Mouseisms, yeah.
Am I allowed to say them in public?
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, no. What the hell does he say? Oh, yeah, I was working with him one day. We were riding along, and he pointed at his dog. He said, "See that dog right there? He's worth about 20 of you. The only reason I bring you with me is because he can't open gates." Yeah. Yeah.
How about... Well, so there's one video of yours that I watched that made me think some more, and I think there's a lot more conversation on this that we could talk about. But you said that the Founding Fathers started the United States in July. It was July 4th, 1776. But the indigenous American population didn't have citizenship until 1924.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact year. I'd have to look at my...
I think you said June 6th or June 2nd. 1924.
I'd have to look at
150 years later, you said?
Yeah, I'd have to look at my notes. But yeah, American Indians, we haven't been citizens very long. I don't even think my great grandpa was even born a citizen.
Which is absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah,
honestly.
It's not very long ago, and we've been through so much stuff together, and there's still stuff going against us today in this world. We've been through so much. We need to help each other out. But one thing I've come to find, especially with finding success in the merchandise stuff, the film industry, the Buckin Horse world, is American Indians are the best at pushing each other down. When they see somebody having some success, and I'm just saying American Indians because I know that horse, I know that rodeo. But I'm sure it happens everywhere. People want you to do good, but not better than them. And once you start doing good and you start finding some success, people say and do a lot of horrible shit to try to tear you down. And it's usually because they're pretty upset with themselves for some reason, and they shouldn't be. They should be proud of you. They have the opportunity to do what you're doing. They have the same opportunity. They have the same hours in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
They got access to social media. They got access to, you know what I mean? The resources are out there. You got to quit using this and talking about it and use your ass and do something about it. And, and help people out, and when you help somebody out, in turn, I mean, don't help somebody out because you're trying to get something, but it's just kind of like, it's almost like a unwritten law. When you help somebody out, that makes them feel good, and in turn they're going to want to help you too. Mm-hmm. But if you're a prick and you're jealous, nobody's going to want to help you out. And I found a lot of that, especially in Indian country, people that I wouldn't even expect it from. And it's going to hurt a lot of times because it's going to come from people you know and people you love and people you respected at one time probably. But you just got to keep on moving forward because this life is between you and Creator, and that's not between you and them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You got to be your own best friend. It ain't selfish to be a little bit selfish.
We can't look after anyone else if we can't look after ourselves first.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. We're obviously way behind on the respect for the indigenous culture in North America. I don't know how to say this, but the white man comes in and steals your land in 1776, or in Canada, I don't know. What were Canada? 1867, so we're 155, 57 years old at this point. Mm-hmm. But the entire system is wrong. Like the residential school side of things, it's just a lot of it's pretty unbelievable on what happened to the indigenous, on the culture side of things and the people. I can't believe what was done and how that was culturally acceptable at the time, to take people from their homes and put them, bring them to town to teach them on the education side. The indigenous people have been living in North America since I don't know when. I don't know when, right?
It's been quite a while. I think they found that there's been people in the Americas since the Ice Age. They found some footprints in White Sands National Park. I can't remember how old they were, but it was definitely people were here, but a lot longer than they previously thought. I guess I should say.
And so I guess what my point is that the native culture in North America is way more established than the European folks that come over and claim the land for their country. I guess it's it's essentially forcibly, but it makes me think about what needs to be still done, and what would help the most in a place I feel like the reservation system is completely. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? Even I'm trying to ask what you think about this right now, and what would help, because the system right now, I don't think it's working. Can I say that honestly? Is it working? Is it not working? Is it what's right or wrong at this point?
I don't know if there's a right or a wrong answer to that question, but in my opinion, so first responders, firefighters, paramedics, cops, and I'm pretty sure soldiers too, obviously. When they go through some pretty messed up shit, they go through what do they call it? Debriefing?
Yeah, decompression.
Decompression, a debriefing where they're allowed to talk about it, and it's like a mental health thing. They have somebody to talk to about it.
Yeah.
I think that needs to happen to the native culture. I think we need to be debriefed. I think we need to talk about it, because say those things happen to that generation, where they were taken from their homes and this and that, and a lot of horrible things happened to them.
Not that long ago.
Yeah, that was two grandpas ago?
Wasn't that long ago, yeah.
Things
there are
happen.
Many people that are alive right now that have experienced that.
For sure. Things happened to them, and they were introduced to alcohol. And so what do they do to cope with it? Those horrible things that happened to them. They drank alcohol. Well, then those people had kids. And they did the same thing that their parents did. And then they had kids. And they did the same thing their parents did. Then they had kids. Now you got me. You know what I mean? I think
you got to break the system or like the habit.
Yeah, I think we need to go through a cultural debriefing. We need to talk about it. We need to be allowed to talk about it. And I think the main thing is people in general as a society need to listen to understand instead of listening to respond. And you kind of understand what I'm saying? Like
That's my intention on this entire show.
Oh yeah, for sure. And
I don't want to tell you something. I want to hear from you.
Oh, for sure. And I think a lot of society needs to do the same thing. You know what I mean? Because how can I say that? What do they call it? I think it's called generational trauma.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think, you know, a lot of people, like, they get upset, and I feel like rightfully so, they're upset about what happened back then. But we need to realize Canada and the U.S., those nations are like a child, right? They stumbled a lot in the beginning. You know, a child, when they first learn how to walk, they fall on their face. They make a lot of mistakes. They make a lot of screw-ups. They continue to screw up through adolescence. You know, when they're kids, they can continue to screw up as teenagers, probably more so as teenagers and young adults, you know, into their 20s. They continue to screw up. But then they turn into, you know, adults. And I think that's kind of what our countries are doing, is we're maturing, turning into adults. You know, we made a lot of mistakes and stuff, but I think we're growing. I think we're maturing. I think we're learning. And I think both countries have learned a lot from their mistakes. And because me, like, I'm not full-blooded American Indian. You know, I'm half white. And so if it wasn't for, you know, I'm not saying that stuff should have happened, but, you know, I wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? And we need to look at each other as human beings, not as, you know, not as this group or that group and separate each other. We need to look at each other as human beings and listen to each other to understand. And I think that's the first step.
Well, I hope there's some more, like, I hope things continue to improve.
Yeah, for
on
sure.
that side of things.
Yeah,
and
most
I feel
definitely.
like some of it is improving, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Some of it.
Yeah, shoot, they let this Indian into the Columbia River Circuit finals. They thought they thought we had good enough horses, you know. In the Columbia River Circuit, I gotta say, shoot, we found a home over there. You know, a lot of the people over there, they were, you know, in rodeo in general, you know, we're all horse lovers coming together, and you know, I found a lot of family in rodeo.
Yeah.
No matter the color. In the Columbia Circuit, anywhere I go, you know, it's one thing that connects us all is horses, livestock.
Literally worldwide.
Worldwide, yeah.
Really.
Yeah, for sure.
You mentioned Columbia River, but that's a little ways away from home. Like, for me, home would be Montana Circuit. It's Great Falls is what, like an hour from Browning?
2 hours. So actually,
2 hours?
I'm like kind of northwest, kind of north central Montana. So
yeah.
To go to the Columbia River Circuit, it's basically the same distance.
Oh, okay. Because
Yeah.
Columbia River's like Washington, Oregon, and northern Idaho, or all of Idaho?
Yeah,
Or what is it?
it's like
Is that
the
correct?
Washington and Oregon and like some Idaho and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So fair enough, because there's a lot of the rodeos that you would be attending from your area would end up being way over in like eastern Montana, which is an 8 or 9 hour drive.
Yeah, it's far away.
You're just as close to go the other way.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
for sure.
Fair enough. Okay, so there's a couple more things I want to get to, but one thing we ask all our guests is, what is your definition of cowboy shit?
What's my definition of cowboy shit? Is being what you got to be at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Adjusting to fit the situation. I think that's cowboy shit.
Okay, and on the cultural side of things, we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, and there's a lot of the indigenous population. There's a lot of really great cowboys on that side of thing. But we go back and think about and even if we go further into this, we can say there's a lot of African American folks that are great cowboys that were great cowboys a long time ago, in the start of the West and kind of like the settling side of North America.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to think what my point is here and trying to grasp the concept of it. But back in the day in all the movies, it was cowboys and Indians, or there's like the Cowboys and Indians magazine and whatnot. And there's a lot of Like there's just so much crossover, and it's such a similar culture. Like we're all very similar. I'm not sure what I'm trying to get at, but I'm curious of your thoughts on this too.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty similar, man. We're all just trying to survive. you know, this world's not an easy place to live, but I think, especially back in the day, it was all about survival, man. And shoot, I think
still is today, honestly.
Yeah, still is today, and I think that's where a lot of a lot of the African American cowboys, they found their way to make money through livestock, things like that. And that was a lot of them. There was a lot of great African American cowboys. Still is. One of the coolest ones I ever think of is Charlie Sampson, the world champion bull rider.
Yeah, from like the middle of Los Angeles. It was a city guy from Los Angeles that ended up kicking at like being a world champion bull rider.
That just goes to show you what the human spirit can do. Like people can run numbers and statistics and shit like that all they want, but you can't run numbers and statistics on the human spirit. And Charlie Sampson, he's one of my heroes. I think that's pretty cool. Come from, you said Los Angeles, and ended up being a world champion bull rider. Yeah, that's pretty dang cool.
Huh.
Yeah.
Right on. Anything you want to leave anybody with? One piece of advice or one quote?
One quote? What should I say?
Can be your go-to too. Like it can
my
be
go-to?
Yeah, if you want. Dealer's choice.
So my Uncle Mouse, one thing I always remember from him is you're only as good as the company you keep. So you gotta, people, and I kind of mix my own with Mouse's here too, because he said you got to be careful about what you choose to feed. He said because a 50-point horse eats just as much grass as an 80 or a 90-point horse. So be careful about what you choose to feed, and I think that goes for people too. Make sure you're feeding and surrounding yourself with some 80 and 90 pointers. And remember, you may have a lot of horses to ride, but you only got one ass. So prioritize.
What about the horses that are marked in the high 90s and low hundreds? Like we missed those ones.
Oh, I missed those ones. Oh shit! I say like 80 and 90 pointers because they're like close to perfect, but they ain't perfect.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
None of us are.
So if you want to find Dougie, find him on at Dougie Hall on TikTok, Instagram, Dougie Fresh Hall on Instagram.
Yeah.
The website, goodmedicinebuckinghorses.com. Check out all of Dougie's merchandise. The whole brand with Good Medicine with the Buckers, and I missed something else too. The studs too. There's something Black Diamond studs.
Oh, Black Diamond, yeah, that's one of our bucking horse studs that we got from Uncle Mouse. Yeah. That guy, he's so his dad.
It's a pretty looking horse.
His dad, that horse is like in his 20s. We're only gonna have him for about 5 more years, so we're gonna go ahead and capitalize on his bloodlines. So his dad's dad was Big Paul, who came from Paul McInerney, and Big Paul was actually the last son of Grey Wolf before Grey Wolf died.
Really?
You ever hear of Grey Wolf?
Well, I remember Airwolf, the big white from the Franklins, like the.
Grey Wolf was he's a PRCA Hall of Fame bucking horse stud that come from the Took family over in Ekalaka. And Grey Wolf, I can't remember what the percentage is, but it's something crazy. Like most of these national finals horses, bloodlines can be traced back to that Grey Wolf, some way, shape, or form. And so our stud Black Diamond, his dad's dad was Big Paul, who was the last son of Grey Wolf before Grey Wolf died. Big Paul died on Mouse's ranch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so that Black Diamond is a great-grandson of Grey Wolf, so that's pretty damn close to the engine, you know what I'm...
Holy.
Yeah.
What about some of the stuff that Mouse has raised? Were there some that he sold to somebody, or like, did he ever have a PRCA card? Like, I don't know. He
was partnered with Flying Five and Big Bend Rodeo. Yeah, so like
he supplied a lot of those horses.
Yeah, so they had their own foundation piece, and then they got linked up with Mouse, and they got I don't know the whole story, but I know they definitely got some foundation mares
from Mouse,
and from my part of the country, and so Mouse had a hand in building, helping build. Flying Five in Big Bend into what it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so he was partnered with them for a lot of years, like 30, 40 years, something like that. And yeah, so a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of these pro rodeo bucking horse programs, not a lot of them, most of them, most of these pro rodeo bucking horse programs, they got Indian ties. You can trace those bloodlines back to Native American breeders.
Yeah. Well, because if we want to go further back,
Hey, how you guys doing? Hey.
we can go further back, but all the horses, like, were here previously 200 years ago. Right? If you want to go like that further back, then everything is that way.
Yeah,
technically, right? But there's not a lot of credit being given, though. I guess is what the point is.
Yeah, that's my point. Is I think the American Indians and the natives up in Canada,
A lot of McDonald crew.
I think they need to get more credit for what they've done because if it wasn't for the natives in the bucking horse community, there wouldn't be a bucking horse community. And I think they didn't do all of it, but they did most of it. Big part of it.
Yeah.
And I think they need to be given credit for what they've done. And
let's give some credit right now. I got to say from Canada, Vern McDonald has spent so much money and effort and time to build C5 Rodeo,
most
and to build
definitely.
his bucking horse string.
Yeah.
Like I might be wrong here, but I also might be totally right, where I don't think there's been anyone in the rodeo business besides maybe the Teton crew that sunk more time and energy and funding into building a rodeo company in the last decade.
For sure.
Last 15 years. Like, yeah, kudos to Vern and his entire crew, Tyson, Jillian Grant now as well. Like, they've done so much.
For sure. There's a lot. I think I'll try to go ahead and name the ones that I can think of.
Yeah.
The native families that have played. Like, I wouldn't say they were the entire engine of the bucking horse world.
Yeah, fair.
But these people were definitely like a belt and a piston and, all that. They were the majority of it. So the families I can think of would be like my family, the Hall family.
Yeah.
The Kitson family out of Browning. Some good buckers came from the Bullshoe family off the Blackfoot Reservation. I'm probably missing a couple.
And sorry, we most definitely are probably missing a couple, but we're doing our best here with on memory.
Yeah, off of memory. There's another guy by the name of Alex Sherman from my country back in the day. Cotton Rosser actually asked me about him one time.
Really?
Yeah, I think Cotton got some horses from him. I'm pretty sure. Who else? I'm trying to think. And then, like, up in Canada, there's like the McDonald family.
Yeah.
There's the Godfreyson family.
Mm-hmm.
There's Lindley's. There's Archie Jack, who's passed away.
Archie, I want to say Archie did a lot of stuff with Kessler's. Is that right?
I have no idea. I just know he was a foundation, one of the foundation guys. Who else was there? There was the Shawls out of the Bitterroot Valley there over in like Kalispell area. There was, all these, and there was the Gunvilles out of South Dakota.
Yeah.
I can't forget them. But yeah, a lot of these pro rodeo bucking horse programs, you could trace their bloodlines back to native families that were bucking horse breeders.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank
I feel
you.
like I've learned a lot today too.
Thank you.
Anything else to add though? Sorry, but one more time.
Yeah, and I don't want to I'm not trying to discredit any of the pro rodeo guys, the PRCA
absolutely.
guys.
And and I got to say, like, the Calgary Stampede, like, there's been they've done so much for rodeo and Western sports and the breeding side of the horse side of things. Like,
for sure,
up in Calgary, and you got Wayne Vold, and you got the Kessler crew, and you got legends now.
Yeah,
not discrediting anybody. Outlaw Buckers, Nansen Vold is now as well. Like, sorry, Jimmy Lawrence, Kelly Rimbaugh, all those guys, like, done so much.
Because those we wouldn't be who we are without them. They wouldn't be who they are without us.
Yeah,
it's a good relationship. You know what I mean? We've helped each other out, and I hope we continue to do that.
Yeah, me too. Well, once again, goodmedicinebuckinhorses.com. Check out Dougie at Dougie Fresh Hall on Instagram. But get all your Good Medicine Bucking Horse stuff online. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for taking the time.
You bet.
Thanks,
Thank
Dougie.
you.
Appreciate
And Blackfoot, get a Mutson. I mean, see you later.
it. Okay. See you later. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
If it's late and you hear me calling tonight, but it ain't right there and you're wondering why, I've made my way to the severed seas where the sun burns hot and the wind does sing. Days away from where I left, there's heaven sent eyes in a pickup bed. I'm trying harder to get on back, but the tide's moving in and God's pushing the raft. 1,000 miles have worn my feet, and the body I hold ain't getting sleep. Your sweet touch moving closer to me, well, it ain't what I got, but it's what I need. Hold on, my dear, 'cause you're fighting like hell to face my fears. Someday I'll tame the fires that brought me here. And it'll burn like hell, but it might as well be the last time you're in tears. I'm betting on a better year.